back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you guys how to make this maxi dress. And the first thing you're going to do is to fold your fabric into two. So we're going to start with the top part, and the width I'm working with here is basically your bust measurement divided by 4 plus extra 4 inches or 5 inches depending on you. The 4 inches is just because the back is going to be open, so you want extra room so that the top comes around your side. So it's just the 4 inches is just to cover your side a little bit. So that's why I added 4 inches. If you want it more covered, you might want to make yours like 5 inches more. So my bust measurement is 42 divided by 4, that's 10.5. The 10.5 plus the extra 4 inches, that's 14.5, and that's what I have here, my total weight, right? And then the length I'm working with, so the shoulder to waist I'm working with is 18, right? Sorry, it's 17 plus half an inch for attaching this bottom part to the main dress. I'm not going to add 1 whole inch because the top part I'm going to be folding it. So basically what I'm doing here is your shoulder to waist plus half an inch. So that's why I have my shoulder to waist is 17 plus half an inch, that's 17.5. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it here. So my shoulder measurement is my shoulder measurement is 16 divided by 2, that's going to be 8. So I'm going to mark it here. Just mark like your normal bodies. Come down by my armhole, which is 10. I'm going to 20 divided by 2, that's 10. I'm going to mark it here. And then after that, the next thing I'm going to do is come on this line here. So guys, the next thing I did is to give it my curve here, just like how you do for your normal bodies. The next thing I'm going to do is on this my line here, I'm going to come in by 2 inches, that's at 6, or if you want you can make yours 2.5 inches. It depends on you how much you want to come in. And then I'm going to connect this line to this my armhole line here. So I'm just going to connect it this way, and then after connecting it, the next thing I'm going to do is to come down here by 2 or 2.2 inches is okay. It depends on how low you want the top part to start. If you want it a little bit lower, you might want to make it like 2.5, right? And then because you're still going to fold this fabric on itself, right? Because you're still going to use this fabric to make a loop. So I'm going to just use 2 inches. So this is where it's going to stop here. But my top is going to, because from my shoulder to where my collarbone is, which is where this top is supposed to start, because it's an halter neck top, it's supposed to start somewhere like 4 or 5. But this top, I'm going to cut out this part here. This part is not going to be part of this fabric. But so guys, as you can see, I'm cutting this out. I'm going to cut this out here. It's not going to be part of this top, right? But this is where my top is going to start here. So you see, I removed these 2 inches from my top because this is just like from your shoulder to almost like to your to your collarbone, but not really. So you see, the remaining extra 2 inches, because remember I said from my shoulder to my collarbone is like 5 inches or so, which is where I want the top to start. I've already removed 2 inches here, but the other remaining 2 inches, like, because 4 inches will be somewhere here or 5 inches will be somewhere here, I've removed 2 inches. The other remaining 2 inches is what I'm going to use to make a loop for my rope. So what I'm going to do is just go to the sewing machine, use bias to finish up this side, the 2 sides, bias on this side, bias on this side. And then if you want, you can still fold it on itself. Like if you don't want to use bias, you can just fold the fabric on itself all the way. But I feel like it gives it tension, so I like to use bias on it. And then after that, you're just going to fold this here. This is going to be the loop for your rope, and then you're going to come down here and give it a dart, right? It depends on your nipple to nipple measurement. So for me, that's like I'm going to use 8 inches apart, so that's going to be up here. I'm just going to give it a dart here. So that's basically it. So we're going to do that and come back. So guys, I've gone ahead, folded this here for the loop for this rope here. You see my rope finished up this side. So basically what I did is, you see how this part is this way, just you fold it, cut out about maybe 3 or 4 inches of this here. So you're going to place it like this and make a stitch. Put this, fold the second one. So you're just making loop for this, the long rope. So you fold the second one, make a stitch. Just keep sewing it all the way down. It depends on you how many loops you want to have, 3 or 4. So 3 is enough for me. So this is it on this side too. So that's basically it for the top part. We are moving over to the bottom now. The next measurement you are working with is now the bottom. So we are going to start from the waist to the where we want the length of the A-line, because remember this is like an A-line skirt, then they attached the ruffle at the end, that's the gather at the end. So I want mine to stop at 26, right? So I'm going to add 1 inch to it, half an inch for joining the gather at the bottom and half an inch for joining this top part to the bodice, to these bodies here. So that's going to leave me with mine is 26, so I'm going to. So guys, like I said, my waist to the length to the floor, which is the length I want, is 42, but my waist to the A line is going to be 26. So 26, I added 1 inch to it, so the 1 inch is half an inch for the bottom, half an inch for the top, so that's 27. Then the end, that's the gathered part at the end, is going to be like 6. It's going to be 16 inches. So the 26 plus 16 is what is going to give me the 42. So the width I folded here is basically my hip measurement plus extra 3 inches. My hip measurement plus extra 4.5 inches. If you want, you can use your hip measurement plus extra 6 inches, 7 inches. It depends on how much A-line you want. I don't want my that wide, so I'm going to just use my hip measurement plus extra about 4.5 inches. And by hip measurement I mean like your hip measurement divided by 4, and then after dividing it by 4 you then add the extra inches. So for me, my hip measurement is 48 divided by 4, that's 12, and then that's 12. If I mark it here, is somewhere here, and then plus extra around 4.5, half an inch for ease because you want it a little bit loose when it comes to your hip, and then extra 1 inch for seam allowance, and then the extra 3 inches I added. So you see, from this point to this point I have about 1.5, 1 inch for my seam allowance, half an inch for the ease, because you don't want it too tight at your hip. So for the waist, all I have to do for the waist is just, after joining this, I'm just going to use this here, place it at the top, and find the exact width of this is what I'm going to use for my top part here. So this is where the top part stops, somewhere here. So I connected my hip line to that. So I just came down from my waist to my hip is around 9 inches. I marked my hip measurement there, and then I connected what I have at my waist to that line. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect this all the way down. I'm going to connect from this line to this point here. So that's what I'm going to do. So guys, what I'm working with, this is it here. I cut 2 of it. So this is one and this is the second one. So you have to have 2 patterns of that skirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here by about 1 inch or 1.5 by this end here. So I'm going to just come up here by 1 inch here and then curve it down. Just curve it all the way down to this line here. Blend it in. So this is so that you don't have this edge here poking out. So I've cut it out. So this is the top part of my skirt. This is the end of my skirt. So I'm just going to notch this center. So for the back part of my skirt, I'm going to cut out a band. So I'm going to use this for the back of my skirt here, this one. So I'm going to just cut out a piece of cloth and make a band for my elastic. So I'm going to cut out something like maybe 5 inches band and attach it here to make the loop for my elastic. This is where the two meet together, the front and the back of the skirt. So this is the front, this is the back. I've gone ahead, attached this band to it. So this is the band for my elastic at the back. You see, it made the back longer than the front a little bit, like where this back attached is now longer. So you see, after that, the next thing I did is to join the two bottom together. That's the front of the skirt and the back of the skirt. And then after that, as you can see, by this side I left up to like 3 inches, and then I joined these top bodies to this bottom, to the bottom front. So after that, now I can go ahead and pass my elastic at the back. So if I pass my elastic now, it will help pull the whole thing together. So you see, but before that, the next thing is to join the bottom to the girder here. So this is what I'm using for my girder. You can measure round this opening, round the opening of your skirt ×2, or you can use ×3. Depends on how much fabric you're working with. I'm working with just 3 yards. So and then the length of the bottom of my dress is 42. So then this A-line part of it is 26 inches, but I want my girder to be 16 inches. So whatever length you're using for your bottom, you're going to add 2 inches to it. So 1 inch is for folding the top part, so I'm going to use 1 inch to fold the top part. Just like how you normally finish your clothes, just fold it normally like this, 1, 2, make a stitch all the way around. Do the same thing for the top part of it, and then you're just going to place it on top of this here and attach it. This girder is not the type of girder that you join this way and then you girder it. You're going to girder it on top, like you're going to take this here, open it up on the sewing machine. That's after you folded this rough end here. You're going to just place it on top of this here and just keep gathering it. So it's supposed to be on top of it, not joined together this way. So I'm going to do mine and come back. So guys, this is it right now, and then this is the bottom. So as you can see, just like I said, you're going to fold it how you normally fold the end of your cloth, and then you just plait it, because if you try to gather it, you might break your sewing machine needle. So just try to plait it close up, and then you see this is what it looks like on top here, and you stitch it. You might want to run the stitch twice so it doesn't tear. So that's basically it. Pass elastic through the back and then continue your stitch all the way up, and that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.